Good morning. So, you might be wondering, why do you see me in Visual Studio again? This is Cursor. And I'm trying Cursor. This is the beta version of Cursor, which can do things like Claude Code can. Big difference being you have it integrated into the editor, so you can give it very precise context, which is nice. What else? Let's see. Get this over here somewhere. Well, I ended up asking it for some tests. I wanted to test the display of some different things. One was this trait that's implemented, or this macro. So it implemented the macro. I said that wrong. It basically used the macro on a type that it had to create. Now, at this point, I wonder, what is an effective test? And is it better to tell it exactly what you're looking for in a test? I think you should tell it what you're looking for in a test. So otherwise, it's guessing. Right? It's the divider there. I don't really care for the test that it wrote. So let's get rid of it and try again. I believe it was this here that didn't have any test coverage. I hit Control L on that. Say add a test add a simple test. Just as macro by creating a type and using the go with it. The test should be simple and exact. Display key, great. Lovely. That's much more to my liking. Okay. Reject forbidden tokens. Is okay. In this case, we have a format. We get an invalid string using the forbidden token itself. Fine. Invoke that. Check to see if it's an error. If it is an error, let's do this. Boom. What's that? Oh, no rules. Interesting. No idea what that is. Code. No. Past chance curves. Lint errors. Yes. That's nice. I matches isn't really needed. Let's get rid of that. If it's at the token boundaries, fine. Multiple occurrences. Okay, thorough. I like this. The use of mods inside of the test mod. I like that. It's nice. Just a little organizational thing that it did. Okay. Now, DB key does have, like, DB key is just not much to it. It's just a wrapper. Now, this wasn't tested, so I said, hey, test this. There were a number of things not tested. I was just asking it to play with me. And in this case, okay, really our format is just, our display is very simple on this. Escape ASCII. So that's the real rub, right? Is that anything that's unusual, like this here, should have that, which it did. Okay, fine. Equality for DB key. Yep, it's fine. Ordering. This one is actually more useful. So what I'm actually very interested in with this one is one of our use cases. Let's see, did it cover it? Null byte ordering. Key without separator. Okay. Well, that's nice. I think that's fine. So as an engineer, how much of this do you actually spend your time on? Thus far, I have found that Claude writes really great documentation. At least their model does. So, where's my water? It's a water port. What happened over here? Oh, a test failed. Do it again. Interesting. Interesting. I don't know why it's putting that there. Oh, interesting. We need to modify the impl display macro to just but not everything. I guess it does. I felt like, but it's not even in. What is that? Yeah, each one of these does have a link. Okay, how clever of you. Is that more correct? I think it is. Huh. All right, accept it. Move the info block outside of this function. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's test. Let's open this. All right. So basically, we were able to bump this up quite a bit into the yellow. That's good. What is still not tested in here? Oh, display for database scan key. Okay. Oh, yes, and these. I need to take a look at that. Are these actually needed? Really, really needed. It's on every single one of them. Yeah, another. This is our test. This is getting cold, isn't it? Copy. Because we called display. And what is this not needed? Okay. Oh, well, it's chewing on that. These allow dead code. That basically changed all of this. But if we commented this out, does it complain? See, I don't think it does. But I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay, so we don't need the code below. And this goes away. Everyone is trying cursor. So I think there's going to be this wave of AI assisted coding editors. Right? It does feel like you're going to need to be a little bit more of a code reviewer and coder in the future. Um, because I do see that, like I've been able to save, say, days of time by letting the AI stuff go through and just churn out comments and stuff like that for me. And things like this, right? It's where we can see. Does this have a dark mode? Or um, actually, I didn't do this. This is mine. What did it do? Oh, archive readme. I, I actually drew this. It tried. It tried to draw like the first version. I don't know why it's scrolling. That's odd. Something wrong with that. So weird. And yeah, some JavaScript on that page is, but it's good. And I think if somebody else was coming in to the code base and they looked at some of the documentation here that the AI wrote and I reviewed, they'd get a good understanding of what these things were. But I think it's definitely useful. It does require somebody to be, what's the right word here? Um, like you can't just YOLO through it, right? Lebron, Sam, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. And good morning, Museum. So I don't know. I feel like part of it is just seeing where the industry is going and trying to figure out, how you can make it work for yourself. As we saw just a little bit ago, we had it fix the test, and it actually corrected some of the code. So we had it write some code, or rather a test for some code, and then it didn't do exactly what we were expecting. And then we had to have it, we didn't have to, we had it adjust or fix the test, and it actually fixed the code, which was nice. How do chess players pay for things? With a check, mate. They use checks. I went to Little Australian, I guess. They use checks. I like that one. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know. How do you guys use this newfangled technology? And it has, just let's review the past year. Right? Did it exist like a year ago? Could it do the same sorts of things it can now? No. Right? Now we have it in this feedback loop where it can actually um, try something, see that it's wrong, make some fixes. So it gets a little bit of feedback. A displayable macro unit test seems rather pointless. Oh, I found a bug. um, so this here, um, we were doing escape ASCII on the whole thing, and it found that, oh, you know what? We should actually limit based on the length of the data. Uh, Flapron, you use Claude a lot? Yeah, I like Claude. I've been using Claude the past week, basically. I don't use the web though. I end up using the Claude Code, right? If I could spell its name right. So this has been really useful for me. I also like to see the cost, which is nice. Ah, you use it to see how confused it can get at very obscure data structures in Rust. Yes. For me, the point of utility, other than just like add documentation or something, has really come with this feedback loop, right? Where it can attempt something and you don't have to say, hey, this is broken, right? It can just use the tools, which is nice. Yeah. And going back to the using an agent, you don't like it to start touching other parts of the code that you don't want. Agreed. I like to be very specific about where I want it doing things. Let's see, which is successful because from your experience, most models can't remotely do anything. It's purely academic. That makes sense. Makes sense. How how many purely academic GitHub repos do you see out there? So I completely get that. But I got another 10, 15, 20 years in this industry. I gotta crank out. So it's either that or I gotta go like start working construction, maybe get a gig at Walmart greeting people and stuff like that. I don't know. But I feel like this little thing isn't going away. So I need to figure out this newfangled technology. All right. So, well, you figured It'd be trained on Arvix. OCR has been a thing. Yes, yes. And I'm sure places, well, yes. Let's see. Fun thing is, since models feed on existing data, if everyone starts using agents, how is invention, like new languages, new frameworks, will come out? And so I think that's fairly straightforward, right? The human directs it to build the pieces of the bridge, not to build the bridge, because it knows how to build the pieces. Say, like you've been reading a book recently, which features a colony of ants evolving over a long period of time and details of how their movements and evolutionary structures work. If you have pheromones, you wanted to walk through how data structure could be used to represent the geospatial querying and how pheromones should be weighted. Interesting. Yeah, sense over times. Slowly failing. And even basic stuff like implementing KD trees and Rust. Oh, interesting. Yeah. I'm surprised that I couldn't do a KD tree in Rust. Level 6, models you've tried in various providers, they couldn't even produce compiling code. So that there, right? That last comment, they couldn't even produce compiling code. I think the key is this feedback loop, right? So here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Right. So well, where is Firefox? Come back to me. All right. So let's find some untested code in here. I thought I had one more. There's another impl in here somewhere. Yeah. Ignoring those fix me bits. Almost there. Here. Right. I think Claude Code is the first one that I saw that really did this well. Here I'm going to get that and give it just that thing. Um, add unit. Oh my goodness. Add unit tests for the display of database scan keys. Keep it simple. And, I don't know. So if I do this, right, it's going to get it wrong. It can't do this. It can't just produce good code on this. Right? So it needs to have some sort of feedback, which is why the agent is very useful. The agent will then go through and say, hey, we need to actually build this. So I'm reading through the backlog here. Eventually implemented it in the most inefficient way possible, like a CS 101. Yes. Some spline interpolation. Interesting. They don't understand Rust semantics. Yeah, completely agree. And let's see, what has it done? Let's say down here. Um, let's run the test. See, I could have told it to ensure that the test works, but I didn't. Oh, well, okay, it did work. Test chart, database scan key, there to there. Yeah. So, yeah, I could see this being somewhat useful. Um, not for those Socratic discourses you have, but intentionally pick NP incomplete problems. You want it done with SIMD without any allocations. So I suspect that like I wonder, Musean, if you started with a unit test, right? You said and your unit test could enforce that there were no allocations and that SIMD was to be used, right? Then you put it in one of these agent loops and you just, tossed money into the AI fire. Um, if it could actually get it, you even give it the correct code and it incorrects it eventually when it loses context. Oh, wow. Yeah. I do think that it's going to change over the next year, right? Like it's taken tools like how long has Claude or not Claude, but Cursor been around? And this is the first version that's been available to the masses. And this is the beta version. Claude Code came out or was released just before this. Um, so there's a little bit of a, I wouldn't call it an arms race, a little bit of an AI race here. And basically, the rest of us are kind of stuck trying to figure out how to survive the next wave that's coming in. And favorite is when you're doing DSP stuff with it, you intentionally pick a non-traditional RFFT algorithm. Wait, what's R stand for in that case? Right, fast Fourier transform. So R. Oh, real. Got it. Okay. So you do at night. I'm on Spotify and Rubber Ducks. Ideas. No real code is meant to be produced. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. At some point, for me, like, I like coding without this stuff, but I feel like, because I've been doing the like coding without this stuff for so long. Um, do I like producing 1,000 lines of comments and reviewing them one at a time? No, but I think it will help the AI in the next wave. Um, so you only need the IAM components if you want to go back into the discrete domain. But from discrete to digital, you only need the complex parts for that. Ah, all right. So let's see. We did. Let's figure out what's up with these guys. 'Cause a lot of these are just not used. I don't know. Feels like I should just comment them out for now. This one we just implemented. a test for that one up there. So database scan key, shard and namespace. Oh, you know what I've been missing in Helix? It's the little list of things for the. Is it this? Yes. Apple Shift. Oh goodness, my fingers remember that. Okay. Um, database. Oh, I've missed this so much. Database scan key. And we want shard. Yeah, let's just comment that out. I suspect these aren't needed, but here, let's do this. Cancel out of that. Give that a just run. Oh, that's going to take a hot moment. Okay. What was next in the list? Okay, this is for database state key. And I love that. These guys. What else? Database info key, same thing. These must be used, just not by tests. Checksum key. An FFT, fast Fourier transform generates a series of complex numbers, real and imaginary. You misspoke about it and said complex when you meant real, but normalizing complex numbers can be seen as ignoring imaginary components. Okay. But yeah. When it's lost the plot because you pick domains you've spent a lot of time studying and practicing. It's usually not typical GitHub projects type. Uh, but it's interesting to know, right? To see when these things fall over. I can see it in the future when you're like, boss, I would have been done like in half the time, but the AI just didn't know how to do, this stuff with fast Fourier transforms. And ID key. Oh, which one was it? Oh, he looked at the end of the word. It was transaction ID key. Oh, they commented that out. Okay. Hmm. All of these. It'd be really sad if all of those are actually needed. A real FFT only generates the real components and usually only the positive half of the sequence, right? Because the negative half is just mirrored. So you can save a lot of memory and CPU time if you're just doing analysis by using an RF. Okay, gotcha. There's also a DCT as a different optimization route to use cosine transform instead of a Fourier. Huh. I don't think I've heard of that. You seem to be well versed in FFTs, Museum. Where did that come from? Working on a compiler and product that did. Oh, DSP DAW stuff in hardware. Interesting. Effects processors and generators. Oh, that's cool. Oh, link back. So that was this one here. I'm hoping that by commenting out those unused functions, that brings function coverage up. Um, part of what I'm prepping for at the moment is two things. Well, one is preparing for it, the other is just kind of solidifying code that's been written already. Um, the preparation piece in getting the test bits up is to be able to use AI effectively, because the way I see that the agents work is that they can iterate and produce better code without much supervision, which is nice. Oh, in uni, you were going for a math degree, got an internship at a company, and then got a job offer toward the end of it from the company they worked with. Oh, so I went back and got a degree in CS instead of math because it was more fun. Oh, that's great. Okay, it looks like we didn't need those functions even to run it. Yeah, we don't have everything set up to run. Ended up maintaining a GCC fork and not using that math stuff directly, only in company workflow stuff. Huh. So it's fun. Let's see. Snafu. Don't have to worry about that. What about this? Ooh. I wonder. So I've not been wanting to set up the unit test for testing these error cases. I wonder if it could do it. Let's see. Let's see what it does. I want to have to command p mod.rs archive. Is it the DB one? I think it is. Oops. Window. Yeah, DB mod. GCC is less fun than just a pure math. Imagine. And is it set? Because I don't think I have this for set or get, right? Set, get, and these arrows down here. Let's tell it to do both for set and get. I give it the whole shebang here. Set and get. Oh, add unit tests. See, in this case, it's match from bytes. Okay. Oh yeah, DCT is just a DFT, but with reals and using Fourier coefficients of a periodic and symmetrical sequence. DFT uses the Fourier French name, right? Coefficients in a periodic sequence, non-symmetrical. Cosine and symmetry. I see the linter error. See, this is why I think um, like this little linter error thing here is going to save me a ton of time, because if I were to use cursor, it would have to run the tests for it. But sorry, if I was to use Claude Code, it would have to run the tests because it doesn't have an IDE set up with Rust Analyzer. Unless, of course, there is a Rust Analyzer MCP out there. Then I could probably use that to fix the codes directly. So you can go on and on about the beauty of the Fourier transform and how it's adapted to analyze DC and AC signals. Man, the stuff I love about FFTs is how you can use an FFT to represent a drawing, right? That is just, I love just the beauty of that and watching it. How it's just so, I don't know, it's like a visual ASMR. I love this. This is like watching like a first year college student try to go through this stuff, right? But they do it faster. This is doing it faster. I wonder, is there a Rust Analyzer MCP? Wait, you can go from raster drawings to FFT and then back? Oh, I didn't know about that. Yeah, there is a Rust MCP. Model failed to call the tool with correct arguments. Oh, resume. There it goes. I love that. This is in actual math, not floats. You know, I should probably have like the UI, one of these here. Keys, I think we were good with. Yeah, let's just stash that. What changed here? Postcard error source. Oh, there's a comma as a formatter ran. Okay, fine. Just don't forget to add some rounding or small or snap to a small grid just in case. Yeah, it's funny. Gaidoro. Yes, this is either the musings of an EE or someone who has suffered enough in embedded. So this is basically what I've been trying to do with part of my workflow is figure out how how to get it to be useful in a way that complements my workflow, right? And here I don't really want to sit here and wait, right? So can I have this thing just sit there and chew on a separate monitor as I figure it out as I'm working on other stuff? Oh, about those drawings. Um, Most of those are being done by the rasterization first conversion at 15. I don't know. I thought I saw like FFT drawing. Final Fantasy, it thinks I'm talking about. Oh, see, I don't want that. Yes, drawing this here. See, does it? So that's interesting. So using epicycles. Basically stuff like this. And yeah, you, let's do this one. I wonder how they're going to do the crown, which seems separate. Epicycles are a bit different. Yes. Basically all searches kind of look like the Google design. Google has spent so much. Oh, I see. They just. And I can just watch this forever, right? Something that's just so neat about it. Oh, I think what I originally saw was somebody explaining, um, yeah, fast Fourier transform via epicycles. Thought that was really neat. Um, it was a web page though. It's not a video. Yeah, change something up here. Oh no, those are just my other changes because the formatting happened. Okay, it's this. Okay, formatting. We get into tests. It doesn't look like it's working. Oh, there's errors. On errors. There's still errors. Fix them. But basically, I don't know. Just want to use this as like a second pair of hands. So as this is cranking away on that, I would like stuff this. Can I have like two of these windows open? I don't want to be bouncing back and forth between this and something else. I want to actually work on mutate. So will it contently like be sitting back there chewing away? Oh, it thinks it's done already. Let's say, hey, yeah, let's accept this and run it. Is this model running locally? It is not. This is actually using, um, I think this is using the Claude 3.7 model. And let's see, I'm going to pull up my account info off screen so I can see what the billing stuff looks like. Cursor. Okay, here we go. Let's see, is there anything on here you guys don't already know? Thanks. I think we're good. Doesn't have my like credit card number. All right. So essentially, I am paying for the pro version of Cursor, which costs me $20 per month. It's less if you pay yearly, but I don't know. I suspect there's going to be some other editor that comes out and eats these guys' lunch, or it's going to be some amazing fight to the death. Um, However, I get 500 premium model queries per month, right? Which includes Claude 3.5. I think 3.7 is also in that. I also said, hey, I'm willing to spend an extra 20 bucks um, by enabling these things over here, right? However, on my little build my wife a website project, if I pay 40 bucks for something like this and it gets done faster, hey, that's fine with me, right? Um, and here you can kind of see the usage. Now, what's interesting about this, and that's different than I don't have Claude Code up. So they're essentially doing something very, very similar, right? With this agent loop going. I can see there are errors. Oh, wait, let's test again. There are lint errors. There are not lint errors. There are lint errors. Maybe I should choose one of the other models. Anyhow, do you manually choose premium models or for some things? Yes. And it uses different models for different things, right? Like let's go off of this file that it's working on. So in this case, if I'm looking at mutate, got a bunch of fix me's and things like that. So if I say use, right, for this autocomplete here, this tab, they call it a tab, uses one of the other models. And I suspect they might be using um, some local vector DB that they build up to help their AI with that. So I think there's kind of a combination of things. If is autocomplete free or paid? I think autocomplete is free. And here, if we come back into the pricing, this is not an ad for Cursor, by the way. I'm not doing an ad for Cursor. Um, So free, you get 2,000 completions and 50 slow premium requests. From what I understand, the slow requests just mean it's at the back of the line, right? Like it, but behind somebody that's actually paying. So whatever. Because usually the way I use this is it's just sitting here. Like I don't even have it up on my screen when I have it doing these things. Oh, Command P. By the way, okay. O T for the symbol. O for the buffer find. Yeah, I just did Command O and it brought up the symbols. Oh, I did Command Shift O, I think. Hmm. Is it per month or lifetime? I think this is per month. So you get like what's free? You get the Pro 2-week trial, right? And after that, I think this is per month. Ah, you have it set for command. Yeah, I'm using my ancient Kinesis, well keyboard. Um, but yeah, so I think that there's going to be kind of this AI battle between companies like this and Claude Code. Actually, let me pull up and show you what I've been doing with Claude Code because I think it's also interesting. Um, and while I'm doing that here, babysit the AI for me. Say, hey, does this work yet? My goodness, the test is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Terminals. This is this one. Fix the broken tests. Right. So while that's going, let me get into my Anthropic account. Okay. Almost there, maybe. Okay. So, um, I'll just talk about this page because it has a little bit of info on it. Um, but I basically put in $30 into the Anthropic AI machine. Um, Here, let's pull this down. Oh, now at this point, because Claude Code uses their API, basically have to spend as you would just using their API. And you can see that I've spent nearly $25. I've got $5 and change left, right? Because I don't want to have some massive bill, so I prepay. Um, but, but what I find interesting is that Claude Code, when I use Claude Code, it doesn't have the integration with the lint errors. I feel like I would have to set up other MCPs for it to be able to even get that. Um, However, it did produce some really good documentation, which I liked. Now, Cursor, I believe, is using the same thing behind the scenes. And this is partly why I didn't want to write the test myself for this one. Um, it's because it was going to be a lot of boilerplate. I could just toss this over the wall and say, hey, go to this. I'll check on you in an hour. Right? Just keep Googling use Stack Overflow AI. Go ahead and fix this, and I'll pay you 5 cents to get this done. Right? Holy cow, did the test actually pass? It actually passed. Okay. Now, if we come back to here, where was we're here? Okay, now it's up to 33. Was it? Thought it was showing a little bit more detail. Anyhow, can AI write unit tests too? Yes, that's exactly what we're having it do at the moment. So I had this itty bitty little bit of code that, now let's go back to the code. I can show you what it was writing a unit test for. This function here, okay? Here, retrieves a value from the database with type say deserialization. 500 requests seems small. Yeah, I agree. But I guess that's for the fancy model and not GPT-4o. Exactly, yes. So in this case, I have it set to auto select a model. However, I had it set to 3.7, less intelligent than max. Fine. I don't want to pay 5 cents per request for max. However, I do know that 5 cents per request for max is less than I would pay using Claude Code, also by Anthropic, right? So these models here are from Anthropic. So going from via Cursor actually gives me a bit of a discount here. So I'm also looking at this from like my financial perspective, right? I don't want to pay $1,000 a month to get my wife's website built faster. 40 bucks, 50 bucks? Sure. Right. Hopefully it's like 20. I still got to support my coffee habit. But the fact that they charged me, I think, just one request for this iteration loop, I think that's all it was nice. Perplexity for free. Just, yeah. I think the real value in AI and coding is the agent feedback loop, right? Letting it just iterate over and over and over again. Because I wouldn't have wanted to sit there saying, hey, you screwed up, right? The Rust compiler does a really, really good job at that. So just let it and Rust Analyzer do that. All right, we're going to accept that, and let's look. So yes, this is one of the functions, and I was asking it to test the error case. So in this case, cat, we have set. Here's inspect error. Okay, with cargo fix is also pretty neat. Spent a lot of work on making more errors. Autofix. Oh, that's awesome. Especially if it's safe. Right? All right. So the AI wrote, let's see, 461 to 1,000. Well, over 500 lines of code just to test this, which I admit, like, okay. Now, where's the actual test? More unimplemented stuff. Okay. Struct, failing storage. Great. I love that name. Yeah. See, and that's the thing with that test. I didn't want to generate all the boilerplate and all that other stuff, but I thought it was a good test, right? Has all of the generic types. Get to some info. Okay. Raw storage. Fine. I don't know how you feel about using underscore names in args instead of underscore equals name in the body. Ha! Zenachron. Yep. Now we've got 30 minutes, man. 30 minutes. Uh, unimplemented is a macro that panics if it's ever reached. It's a hint to the compiler also, I believe, that this code should never be reached. So I think the compiler could have the hot path go in the other direction. You're from a time when traits didn't have argument names, only types. Yeah. Okay. So we ended up with a test with a struct implemented in the test. And we have archive DB, database state key, database state, storage. We set this, check to see if it's an error, and unwrap the error. Okay, we check to see if the error matches storage error. Interesting. So using underscore in the body doesn't change the trait impl when you do impl this trait in Rust Analyzer. Is that my traits don't have underscores in the names? You have allow dead code though. Oh, here. Yes. Yes, I do. Which turns that lent up. Interesting. Ah. Oh, I see what you're saying now. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. True. Okay. So raw storage. Get this. And then test key. Storage set. And it's an error. Great. Test get error paths. A lot of that. Yeah, and some of the code actually isn't used at the moment because I have only built half of the system. So, and tests don't count. Right. Okay. So this is neat. I would say these types that are defined in the functions, we should see if, let's ask it to see if it can use common set of failing types. Let's say update the tests to use a common failing storage. What was the other one? Failing storage and test key. You're right. Rust Analyzer would have just stamped all of this out pretty much the same. It would have been to-dos instead of unimplemented. Should be unreachable here. Oh, if you edit code manually, will AI remember it or revert your changes? So it depends on how you interact with the AI, right? In this case, I selected a bunch of code and I said, update this. Um, if you instruct the AI to do that, then what I've seen, it tends to do what you're asking. If you give it more freedom, saying, hey, update this file, then it might change some of the code that you've written, which is why Git is a friend here. To do is unimplemented, but should be implemented shortly. Yes, makes sense. It's Vibe Coding Stream. Good morning, Race Peace Day. Um, Vibe coding. This is me trying to figure out how I'm going to be using AI. Because I'm seeing things happen in the industry and want to stay, I don't know, stay relevant. I want to understand how to use the tools. So, yeah, a little bit of vibe coding. I've actually got two repos. Basically, the Reverb AI version and Reverb. So I have both set up. And at the moment, I have Cursor chewing away, doing its thing, and hopefully doing it correctly. Let's see. Let's run the tests. You actually like those streams because stuff goes much faster. Yeah, what I'm looking to do here is actually figure out how I can use AI as like my little personal assistant. Like imagine like that like intern, if you will. And I say, hey, go do this for me, please. Um, and it just cranks through and does it, right? Then it comes back to me and says, great, look, I've finished this thing and I can do all the big brain stuff, and it does all of this stuff, and which I don't know. Let's just hit accept. Okay, we've reduced the file size by 200 lines. I'm the boss now. That's right. Don't page me. I'm busy. Swings golf club as hard as possible. Yes. Okay. So we have some tests now. Oh, this is so much better to read. Failing storage, do this, great. Okay, I'm fine with that. Storage set, await the error, good. Create test DBs. Oh, look, it dried it up. That's lovely. Has self to asref compare and swap. Interesting. Much of this actually isn't used. Right? Like these things are just, it's implemented against something that's unimplemented. And recipe stay. I am not making my own version of SQLite. I am making a VFS and system that goes along with it. Um, so a VFS is a virtual file system plugin for SQLite. And by implementing that, it helps me to detect when a change has been made and then take the change, move it around and whatnot. Actually, where'd my little box here is gone. Where did that go? Is it somewhere else in here? Well, self to Azref is odd there, in your opinion. You're not going to nitpick that. Do you really use storage for uh, arbitrary self types? Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, that is interesting. See, like I'm learning stuff about this. Okay. Let me fix this thing. Here, this should be data archive. And or whatever this thing should be in there. Yeah, you should be in there too. It has all sorts of stuff not actually in there yet. Okay. And these are just notes. Fine. Good. Okay. Okay. So an AI can't replace museum because it's an encyclopedic, I don't know, repository of knowledge on Rust. Okay, so I like this arbitrary self types. That is cool. Okay. So where am I using this? First off, because we're about to go have some more fun. Let's come back over here. Say fine. Um, I'm gonna come back. No, let's commit that real quick. Tests. Okay. You've seen this context window is infinite. Okay, I've got about 5 minutes. I have to go feed the chickens' neighbor, the neighbor's chickens. Yeah, the chickens' neighbors. That's right. Uh, okay. So coming back to cursor. Now, 5 dB. Do I actually use? How is that used? Okay, okay. They were added to support the future trait. Oh, interesting. Future poll. Oh, let's take a quick peek at that. Right, pin. Fascinating. Okay. So how do we use this for awesome? Unlike an AI, you can't type. Okay, okay, okay. So am I actually using okay. As ref, why did we use this as ref here? Let's think about this. This is because of so replicate. We have a bunch of tests in there. Let's go to the top. Replicate has oh no, it was in DB. Data archive DB. So we have TIKV and SLED implementations. Yeah, so it can be generic. I believe that's the case. Because that was what I found to be in common between the SLED APIs and the TIKV APIs. So if I had something that do that, but their SRF usage was because self is an arc. Oh, I see. I didn't actually look that closely. I meant to. Let's go back. So you actually looked at the code more closely than I did. Yeah. So, oh, I see. The implement, huh? Got it. I don't think I am. I don't think I'm using an arc on that. That seems odd. No, I just use I do not use an arc on that. Pull raw storage for failing storage. Pull raw storage for invalid data storage. Okay. Raw storage for arc. Wait, why? Okay, this can probably just go away. But yeah, these two here can go away. So are they even using an arc in here? Here. Maybe archive new. That's not needed. Okay. All right. Well, I will strip out the arc bits. I actually have to run and feed the neighbor's chickens. But that's a good stream. I I'm happy kind of that the AI was able to do this. Because I can just point it and kind of turn my back and come back to it later. Um, so I have to get going. So happy Wednesday, y'all. Let's see. Who shall I rate today? Oh, we're gonna rate Tom. All right, y'all. Till next time. Bye bye. Yeah, and I completely agree with your last piece. Can be so faster to fix it later than write everything manually. Sometimes, because it really depends on whether or not you're interested in writing it in the first place. Um, okay. I have to run. Take care, y'all. Bye bye.